Welcome everybody to another episode of Let's Make a Game Together. My name is Dave, and we are going to do some cool stuff in this episode, and we're going to do a lot of cleaning up of the code, which is something, well, cleaning up of the project, I should say, because this project is pretty disgusting, and we're kind of coming up to the end of the development, the end of the prototyping phase. Like, we've tested some core things. A lot of things don't work, a lot of things do work, and we're going to build some things from scratch, again, moving forward, deleting what we do have and recoding them from the ground up to build it more purposeful. And some things we're just going to adjust a little bit. So it's exciting times ahead. But today, what we're going to do is, first up, just going to have a little play, see what we did last episode. So we got the parallax scrolling happening last episode, and but one of the things that someone on Patreon suggested was it'd be really good to see the clouds moving. Like, when you sit here, it'd be good to see the clouds moving. And I thought to myself, like, it'd be better to see the clouds moving at different rates. Like the ones in the distance, there might be more wind over there, or there might be more wind closer up. But either way, we need them to move at different speeds. And it's actually pretty easy to do, so I thought I would just quickly bust that out. But before we do that, I'm going to get rid of this stupid problem here by just chucking it through Photoshop quickly. So let me just go to the sprite. Oh, no, wait. Temp art. Oh, it's in temp art. Well, hopefully we can move it out of temp art. Let's reveal in Finder, and I suppose just open up Photoshop, file new. How big is the actual file at the moment? Oh, it's tiny. 800 by 600, so let's just say, yep, let's just say that. 1920 by 1080. Let's just make this background grey, turn off extras, and move in this. And then all we need to do is the polygon tool, we're going to rasterize this layer. Okay, now we have some clouds in here. We are just going to click on it as we did before. Let's just actually check before we do that. Set it to 10 times. Alright, cool. So we'll set this one. Set this to also 10. Apply. We want it to be multiple. Apply. Slice. Should just slice them automatically. Apply. Alright, gotcha. So we've got 3 clouds now. Happy days. So let's just drag 1 cloud, 2 cloud, 3 cloud. Let's get rid of these. Okay. So we've got our 3 clouds. We can move them around, and they're not all ugly now, which is good. Well, they might be a little bit ugly, but they're not cutting into each other, which was driving me insane. And so they got their position up here, which is what they all do. Let's just zero them all out. And let's just add a component to them called clouds. Come on, Mac. Alright, cool. If anyone's wondering why I'm not using my PC yet, it's because for some reason I can't get the audio to work. I have no idea why. I've tried everything. I've installed drivers, deleted drivers, taken drivers off, put new drivers on, done absolutely everything. It registers, but it's still not working. I don't know what the solution is, but I'm about to burn the computer to the ground. So until I get that fixed, I'll be working on my Mac, unless I get my audio interface working with my new mic. But anyway, so what we need to do is we can just say public, actually, well yes, we can say public float speed, and then private float x direction. Because we really only want to moving back and forth. I mean, you don't really have to, I suppose. I suppose this can be vector 2 actually. And then in and then in start, we just need to say x direction equals transform dot position dot x. So that just gets actually, let's just make this a float. Sorry, I know I'm confusing. Sorry. So we got private float speed, private float x direction. So this just stores the x direction of it assigns the x direction as the x position of this game object. Cool. And then in update, we just need to say x dir minus equals time dot delta time times speed. Cool. And then so all that is doing is reducing the x direction by a small amount. So this, if this started at 0, it would go like -1, minus 2, -3 over time, which is what we want. And then we just want to change the position of these clouds based on that x direction. So transform dot position equals new vector 3. We want to use vector 3 because remember we're using the z-axis for the clouds. And then we say, well, it needs 3 vectors. We need x, y, and z. So first one is obviously x direction. And then transform. I just want to explain something. You might feel inclined to say 0, 0, and then end it, and that's fine. But what that would mean is the z value and the y value will actually just. Let me just show you. Let's just say get all these clouds and we move them up and away. When we press play, they're still there. Oh, one's not. Let me just add clouds and clouds. If we press play, they all just come straight to the front. And the reason why is because, well, you're setting the position to 0 and 0. Instead of saying 0, I know it seems counterintuitive, or at least it did for me. You just want to write transform dot position dot y. So it's saying whatever the transform position dot y currently is, that's what you want to keep it. And transform dot position dot. Whoa! Come on, what's going on? Dot position dot z. So now if we press play, they should stay up in the air like this. Great. So if I just pause it, get out of maximize on play mode, unpause it, and I go to one of the clouds and I move this forward, then the cloud is moving by itself. And as we move around, it'll be moving completely independent of what I'm doing, and that just sits there. So whatever any cloud that has this script on it, it'll just move to the left. Now if we press play again and we say we move this one in the positive direction, it moves that way. We move this one in the negative direction, it moves this way. Now this might not be what you want, but hey, maybe you're making a game where you're in a cyclone and you want some really cool effects. you want things to move away from each other and do all these crazy things. That could be really cool. But either way, that's just a really simple solution to the problem. Now, obviously, this is something that eventually what would happen is all the clouds would be off the screen and everyone would be sad because it would be a cloudless sky. But to fix that, it's quite simple. You can just work out. I won't do it because it's a bit tedious, and I don't think we'll use this moving forward too much just yet. But when this cloud gets to the end of the level, where the edge you can't see can't see it anymore, you just need to say, well, if it gets to here and it's moving, and it's moving this way, like let's say they're all moving left, then as soon as it gets to here, then move it here. And it's pretty simple. So like, you could say just an if statement saying if transform dot position dot x is equal to -10, then you could say transform dot position equals new vector 2 or vector 3, and then you can make it say 100 and transform dot position dot y transform dot position dot x. Alright, now that should work. If it doesn't, I'm not going to continue with it, but please no errors. Yes. Okay, cool. Do I sound like a confident programmer or what? Okay, so let's just I know I said I wasn't going to code it, but I'm just going to quickly go over it now. So if this is go to -10, which you can see it's at -9.4, and we would make this say 1, let's just make this 8, press play, it should actually skip ahead to 100. And it doesn't. But you get the idea. If it's maybe less than. There we go. It moved over here. And then, yeah, that's exactly what we wanted to do. So as soon as it got to -10, which is obviously not the right spot, it moved over to here. So you'd obviously need to work out what this spot is and what this spot is, and then you could have the clouds looping, and you even set random values to them, like how big they are, how small they are, and all that kind of jazz. But we're not going to use this. So if you want to use clouds, all you need to do is, if you want to use clouds the way we've been using them, is to bring them into your scene like this, and bring it right back like that one. Let's make it 10, 10, right back, and then this one, and bring it right back as well. Make it 3, 3, and this one down there is pretty cool looking. I might just leave it as is, and let's just give it a quick look. Oh, sorry, and I'll just make, that's the 124, so we'll make that one go at 0.2. This one's at 56, so we'll make it go at 1, and this one is at 21, so we'll make it go at 2. Let's just have a look. Might not look good, but it might look cool. Cool, so different clouds are moving at different speeds. So obviously the game looks like crap because I'm not going to spend ages working on what it looks like, because you guys aren't making the exact same game, you're making your game, and that's what's important. So you guys can spend time tweaking the stuff, and your game will hopefully look cool. So the next thing that we want to actually move on to is something that you guys, once again on Patreon, suggested, which was moving from say the player goes up to a store and goes inside the store. Well, how do you move the player from this level, I suppose, to where the store is. And there are a couple of different ways to do it, and it's actually pretty simple. It's quite easy actually. There's an easy way. There's a not so easy way, but still pretty easy way. And I'm going to quickly just touch on both. Yeah. So I am going to drag these clouds in here as prefabs. I don't care about these trees. I'm going to delete all that. All I care about is right now is this platform. So what we're going to do is we're going to design a quote-unquote door, but it's going to be more like a tunnel. So the player can, go in a tunnel down to somewhere. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do it. First way you can do it is really simple, and it's basically, let's just grab this, copy paste. Let's make it big so I can grab it, and let's just. I need a bigger screen. This is killing me. Let's just bring it right over there. So I suppose what you could do is, like, let's say you just had create an empty game object, create empty, and you could tag it. You could label it. Let's say green. Green's a cool color. Get my gizmos. Where are my gizmos? Why aren't they showing up? Oh, there they are. Cool. So this game object here, we can say spawn point, and let's just drop it right down. 0, of course, this ground should be at 0. The spawn point is here. I'm just going to add a sprite renderer just so we can see it, because right now I can't see nothing. I'm just going to make what should the sprite be? Yep, that's good enough. Look at our horrible looking door. I'll make it dark so it doesn't. Beautiful. Oh, you can tell I'm an artist. Okay, cool. So there we go. So this game object here, obviously you don't have to have this here. And let's just actually move let's just move the player down here just for some perspective. Yeah, cool. I forgot the old camera problem. So let's just bring that right up and bring this right up. Obviously the edge of the level, that's something that you need to look at. Oh, come on, what is going on? Oh, X minimum. Great. Whew. Okay, thank God. Alright, cool. So let's just drop down this. Let's just say pretend this is a tiny little door. Press play. Okay, I don't know what was going on there, but there was some strange behavior. I had to delete it for some reason. I don't know what's going on. But back to, I'm just going to leave that for now, because I think that's a problem with my old beat up 2011 MacBook Pro and the version of Unity that I'm running. But I'll still go ahead with what I was talking about. Okay, so basically what I was doing there is I was just creating a new like part of the level, like way off to the side, somewhere where the camera would never ever see, and then assigning the player to, like moving that player to that area, and then when you walk back into the door, move that player back. And it's really, really simple to do. So like, let's just say, let's for one move this script into scripts. Let's open scripts again and create a new script, and we're just going to say, I'm going to call this go to new area. And it's very simple. So this is one way that you can handle it. You can also handle it by moving, just to let you know, you can also handle this one way by moving like opening a new scene in Unity and moving the data management over to that scene, moving the play and moving, and then sending that information back. But if it's for a lot of people's games, this is just an easier version, an easy way to do things. So we can have a new public vector. We can actually say public game object spawn point 1. You can do comma to do another game object, spawn point 2. So you've got two game objects, spawn point 1, spawn point 2, and then at start, I don't think we need to do anything just yet, and I don't know if we need to do anything here. So the first thing we want to do is create a void on trigger enter 2D. Make sure you do it exactly like it should be. Collision 2D, I think it's collision. Oh, here we go. I'm going to stuff it up. And let's just say print, which is the same as debug.log. I've just discovered. Hit. Cool, so let's just test this out. So let's just create an empty game object. We're going to add a box collider 2D. We're going to add our script go to new area, and we're going to say in start, we actually will need a start, void start, and then we just need to say sp1 equals this. So if we press play, then we get errors. This dot game object. Bam, so it assigned that game object. Obviously the other doesn't have the correct, the other one doesn't have the correct, oh, we've got an on trigger enter problem here. We'll fix that in a sec. Just go to on trigger enter 2D. Copy. Let's see what I got wrong. Print. Hit. I like to call the variable trig, but that's just me. And let's just go back and let's actually find this, call it point 1. Copy that, and we'll say spawn point. Actually, I'm going to call it spawn point B and spawn point A, because this one will make spawn point 1 this spawn point, and this one will make spawn point 1 this spawn point. 1.8. Oh man, I know I'm confusing, but like if we press play, they both think spawn point B is this one, spawn point A is this one, and then all we need to say is all we need to do is grab these two. Let's just make them a little bigger. Let's just add that sprite renderer. What did we choose last time? Those. Maybe we won't choose that actually. Okay, this tree is going to be the spawn point. Beautiful, beautiful tree. So if we got spawn point A, put that here. Spawn point B, put this here. Make sure we can see them. And we want to obviously make sure both are is trigger. And then in spawn point A, we want to drag spawn point A to spawn point 2, and in spawn point B, we want to drag spawn point B into spawn point 2. And if my understanding is correct, great. Spawn point B, spawn point B, spawn point A, spawn point A, that is wrong. Spawn point so we want to lock that. And then we want to lock that. We just want them to be different. That's just the main thing. B, A, cool. A, B, A, B, A, B, A. Why am I not smart? Ah, oh, silly me. Gotta unclick. A, B, B, A. Happy days, thank you. Okay, so what we're testing now to see if we walk into the trigger, it's going to, yep, saying hit. Fantastic. That's what we want. Cool. And then all we want to do is say, when we hit, we want to say trig, which is the item that we are hitting, I suppose. Trig.gameObject.transform.position equals sp2 .transform .gameObject .transform.position. Alright, press play. Bam! So they're teleporting so quickly, they're in two places at once. That's pretty cool, I didn't actually expect that to do that. Okay, and so to solve that, let's create just a simple bool. Private bool can transport. I swear I'm not this bad of a programmer when I'm programming by myself. I don't make big mistakes like that, but like little mistakes like that. I know. And let's just say can just as I say, can transport equals true. So it starts off true, and then all we need to do is say if can transport equals true, and then we want to say can transport equals false. And then we can create a new one of these, but we can say on trigger exit 2D, and all exit wants to do is set can transport back to false. I mean true, sorry, back to true. So starts off, you can transport, great. As soon as you transport, can't transport anymore. Oh, so this won't run again. And then when you exit the trigger, can transport equals true. Alright, let's give this a go. Oh, actually, now I'm thinking about it, it might not work. Because it's not static. Public. So, I'm just going to show you this for argument's sake. But I don't know if you should do this if you're really making a game. Great. Cool. So don't do that if you're really making a game, obviously. But what we can do is let's remove this, because I think what people will actually want to do is when they get somewhere, they like get to a door, they maybe want to like, you know, click down, and if they click down, then it sends them to that area. So we can say if input.get button down, and for this we're just going to say jump. It's going to transport the player to the other area. It doesn't work. On trigger stay 2D, which is when you're actually staying there. Great. Yay. So that's how you could do it. Really rough as guts, obviously, to another area. So like say, for example, you had a pipe that was just sitting there, and the player came up to the pipe and land, like let's say this is the pipe, top of the pipe, and they press the down button. Well, then you can just have a condition that says if the player is on top of this and he presses the down button, then show the animation like of the player going down, and then you just transport the player to like some area down here or something, or up here, doesn't matter where it is really, and they'll be in a different room, and then that's it. That's all you really need to do. And that's how you can move the player to perceivably different places in the game. And I think that I know that was a real rough as guts way of doing both those things, but I think that we're going to leave it there. But I've got something really exciting that I want to say. So I've been working on a 2D platformer for the last probably 2 months. And just in my own time, probably a month actually. Anyway, most of my programming 2D platformers has been quite limited, and I've learnt a lot about how to make a character feel good. And there are some things that I want to adjust with our character. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this next stage of development the Super Mario Bros. 3 era of character controller. So it's actually going to be a continuation of this series, but it's going to be the next step. So it's going to be a bit more advanced. It's going to be a bit different. It's going to be some new things. Things are going to be coded, not perfect again, because once again it's me, but it's going to be coded a bit more advanced, a bit more hefty. But there are some things that I want to just bring up. So right now, let's just get rid of these spawn points. We don't need them because you guys know what they do. So let's just look at our player. So the player jumps, but the problem is right now, if you look on the scene view, the player only jumps one, like it's literally just one style of jump. There's nothing else that the player can't jump higher, he can't jump lower, he can't jump, he can't really move too much in the air. It's a very, very boring jump. And if you're building a game that's a platformer game, and the whole way that your player interacts with the world is by jumping on enemies' heads, jumping around, you actually want that jump to feel really, 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 really good. So there are a few things that I want to possibly add, and I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below of what the things that you would be very interested in seeing, and even more so on the Patreon. If any of my patrons are got any ideas, let me know. But things I'm thinking about doing is, first of all, variable jump height. So when the player taps the button, he'll jump like this, and when he holds the button, he'll jump a little bit higher and come down. I want to have a gravity multiplier possibly. So when you reach the apex of the jump, the gravity like pushes off a little bit harder. So the jump isn't so much like this anymore. When you jump high, it goes up and then down a bit harder. Now that just makes it feel a little bit less, a little bit more weighty, a little bit less floaty. It gives it a nice feeling, and the player feels like they're reaching up, and then gravity's tearing them back down again. Also, let's just put this thing on for a second, just so I can show you. Pretend that the top of this platform for some reason is a walkable platform. If the player is coming along and he jumps just there, he's not going, like, he's just going to fall straight down. But most puzzle games, they give you a little bit of leeway, so they actually let you jump probably there. In fact, Fez, if everyone knows the game Fez, lets you jump about there. Braid lets you jump about there. So you actually get like a long period, a grace period to actually do your jumping. It's called ghost jumping, and it's something that a lot of platformers do. You're not supposed to notice it when you're playing the game, when the player is playing the game, but it'll feel unfair if they thought they pressed the jump and they didn't press the jump. And so that's something that we can look at doing as well as fixing the raycast. So the raycast comes from your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a bunch of different rays from the sides. But this will all be in the new series, which will be a continuation on from this series. But it also means that anyone who hasn't done any of this series will be able to like pick up kind of where we left off. Start from this next video. So make sure you check out, subscribe to the channel. So not to miss it, because the cover photo will look a little bit different. It's still very similar, and I'll see you guys in the next episode, which should be really exciting in the new year when this Christmas chaos has died down. Thanks so much. Let us know in the comments below if you have any ideas or suggestions, or if you've noticed anything cool that you like or things that you don't like. Let me know. I'm always listening, and peace out.